Well, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the American Scousers post-match show. 3-3 with Newcastle, dropped points, wasted opportunity, good result, okay result. It entirely depends on the perspective, but me personally, throwing it out the door. Uh, Wasted opportunity going 3-2 up, wasting a very special Mo Salah performance. But we're here, as always, to analyze and kind of dissect how things went. With me, of course, is Serzi, I know in the pre-match you were talking about this a lot, but we'll save what you have to say for a bit. But one word to describe that performance for you before I go to Anon.
I don't know. Bullshit. Is
Bullshit.
that two separate words?
That's perfect. And of course, my former Friday buddy, who listen, we should have more shows together, my friend. It's just the timing of everything, but it's great to have you over here. I wish the circumstances were a little better result. But Anon, how you feeling? Describe that result in one word. What do you think?
I'm going to say entertained. I was entertained by both teams. Not the result we wanted, but I'd say entertained. Funny because the refereeing was absolutely atrocious.
Right.
And dummy because of that dummy from boy Dominic Szoboszlai. That was pure sex, man. That was beautiful. And I'll leave it at that.
Hey, listen, in all seriousness, though, he came in, the game pretty much changed. I think that triangle with him and Salah, Trent and Salah is really effective, and that kind of showed. We basically just created two goals really seamlessly. It's just a shame that we couldn't hang on there. So, I mean, I guess the whole argument, Serzi, was Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, who plays that 10. But, when they took out Gravenberg because he wasn't having the best game, putting Curtis on that 6, him and Szoboszlai in tandem was pretty good. So is that an option that you see that we can actually go on? Because it doesn't look like Gravenberg is he looks like he's leggy. Like what we've feared over the last few weeks is finally coming into fruition, where he looks tired. And that option with Szoboszlai and Jones looks like something that we can actually use over the next coming few weeks.
It's a good option.
Right.
I think Gravenberch, he was unlucky. It's hard to pick on him individually because the whole team are just dire. From Van Dijk onwards, like everyone, including Salah. I think Salah scored the goals, and in fact, even though Kelleher cost us at the end, he was the only one who had a decent game. So it was hard to pick on anyone. Like I said, the whole team just looked leggy, and then McAllister picking up a yellow for no reason at all, and he's suspended next game. It's the midfield didn't get protection. The defense didn't get protection from the midfield. Gakpo was hardly in the game. Nunes just, unfortunately, I like Nunes, and it's just so hard to, when he puts in a performance like today, to defend him, because he has so many good trades and he plays so many good games, and it takes a game like this for everyone to then jump on, well, I told you so, and and it's a shame, it's kind of like, he brings it upon himself, I guess. But yeah, I mean, seeing that Jones Szoboszlai thing, I said in the pre-match, I would have played Szoboszlai from the beginning, just to cover Anthony Gordon, and it's, but obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. But if there was a shining light today, shows that we could play Jones and Szoboszlai and give Gravenberch a rest, and we can actually probably rotate that midfield more than what we could. So even if we take McAllister out, we've got Gravenberch, Jones, Szoboszlai, and
Right.
or take Gravenberch off, whatever. But yeah, I guess that's the biggest takeaway, I guess, from that.
I saw you grimacing, Anon. Was that because United are 2-0 down?
It's just because Arsenal scored a second, and honestly, at this point, I see Arsenal as our only competition for this league title.
Right.
Well, City looked good today, and we could, I saw somebody wrote City is back. It could be, show City one small glimpse of the title, and they're going to be all over it. It's like they just had their smelling salts, and they go crazy. But
Right.
Arsenal 2-0 up, and that's just a resilient team that's going to just be on our ass all season.
How do you think this result? I'll stick with you, Anon. How do you think this result kind of puts it like how massive would it have been if we actually won this, right? In terms of like,
I think what is it? Winning puts us 9 points clear of Chelsea and Arsenal. And then now with the draw, what is it? 7 points. That's really one draw, one loss. You never know. That's 2 draws. We tend, especially if we play like today, how many more games are we going to draw? And I always like to say draws are what cost you the titles, not losses. So how many games are we going to draw? We've only lost 1 this season, but we've just drawn with Newcastle. We could have won. How much of that are we going to see this year? That's really the question. And it's still early. It's only December 4th. People, making it seem like it's been over. It's only December 4th. We're one away game to City and 1 away game to Chelsea or 1 away game to Arsenal. That could change the whole complexion of the season. So the question is, where do we go from here? It's not a bad result at 3-3. Because we could have won it, it hurts a little. But going to St. James's Park and putting a performance like this, Salah putting in a performance of somebody who had just been talked to about his new deal, looks a new man. And I'm not worried. I just don't want us to drop points while other guys like Arsenal and City are getting their points.
Are you feeling the same, Sergi? Because obviously looking at the table here right now, that's still a healthy 7-point cushion, and you could definitely do a lot. We could have easily lost today. Like, let's be real, we could have easily lost today. But then as Anand kind of put in here, like, it's the context of everything, the result, like, we could have easily just won as well. So what makes it all the more frustrating. Obviously, this December is big. We got City out of the way. We got Newcastle out of the way, still 7 points clear. How do you think the boys are going to approach the next game against Everton? Because obviously that's another massive game as well. What a similar atmosphere. Do you think that it becomes a must-win at this point, considering?
I think it does. I mean, like I was saying pre-show, I'd rather have lost points or dropped points to Newcastle than Manchester City, because that was a 6-pointer. And it helped us create that gap between us and City, who are still, they're the champions, So, and the way we took care of City was just a complete mindfuck for them. Newcastle, it's one of them games. I was speaking to one of my friends who just got into, football, and I was telling him, like, because he's like, oh, Newcastle 14th, how are we doing? When you followed Liverpool as long as I have, and that's not a disrespect to anyone else, but it's one of them games. It's normal. I can't even say the word. Anyway, it's one of them games where you're just going to have to sit back and just watch it unfold. It's it doesn't follow rules, and just like us playing Everton or us playing Man United, that form goes out the window. And Newcastle and Liverpool games have just always been like that. It hurts because of the way we lost it, and it's not Kelleher's fault. Everyone's like, well, this is why he's number 2, and this is why Alisson's. But no, I mean, he's saved us this season. So many games, he's played more games than Alisson has done for the last 12 months, and we've got as far as we've got because of Kelleher being in goal. He's world class. So yeah, I had a brain fart, whatever it was, maybe lack of communication for the defense, whatever it was. It cost us. We didn't lose the game, and like I said, prior to Salah scoring that 3rd goal, I would have taken a draw, given the circumstances. So it is what it is. If you're going to have a blip, if this is our blip and we've dropped points today and we can bounce back from this, then, it is, I'll take it.
Yeah, it looked like from the get-go on that this is going to be one of those games where we just have to be absolutely on it. But you kind of have to ask as to why. I guess obviously, right, hindsight is 2020 and all that, but the Kwanzaa at fullback situation, it's really mind-boggling, isn't it? Like, I know it. He did the experiment last game against City, but that was to set up shop and close the game, not when you're at 0-0 and you need to win a game away from home in one of the toughest arenas, right, in the Premier League. So I guess it wouldn't be wrong, I guess, to say that cost us the game with how slow we started out of the gate because of that. So I mean, obviously you'd think that he starts with a proper fullback next game, right, and with a proper center back, right?
No, it's kind of weird. Gomez has shown the last few seasons that he can operate left back and right back. I mean, he was a primary right back for quite some time. And then when we needed a left back, our actual left back, Timikas, wasn't getting minutes because Gomez had put in such a good, stint of games. And then all of a sudden today, Kwanzaa starts at the right back, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to the Kelleher mistake. When you're a goalie and your defenders are changing and you don't have that much, trust, or you don't understand the current defenders that you're playing with, excuse me, as well, mistakes like that happen. I'm not going to say I'm a keeper, but I'm a defender. And when I'm not communicating with my keeper and he doesn't have that trust in me, mistakes do happen. So I don't want to put any blame on Kelleher. He made a mistake. Is it his fault? Yes. Are we going to crucify him for it? Absolutely not. Kazi put a nice text in the group. He's won us more points this season than he's lost us. He only cost us 2 points this season, but how many did he win us? We're top of the league, right? We're top of the Champions League. We're performing in everywhere we go. So I'm not upset. But to go back to it, yes, why is Kwanzaa playing at right back when you could just employ him where he wants to be at center back and literally employ Joe Gomez where he wants to be at right back? That was kind of Brendan Rodgers-esque, kind of thing where he just did his thing. Did it cost us the game? Potentially. Did so many things that happen in the game cost us the game? Yes. But, we move on. We go forward and we look forward to the next games. And I think the likes of, Szoboszlai playing with Jones, that was so beautiful to watch. I think we'd like to see more of that. We're aware that Gravenberg has been potentially player of the season, but eventually you're tired. You're exhausted. You need a break. You need some time off. So give the lad some time off. Use your Mecca. Use your Endo. But also employ your two best options going forward in Szoboszlai and Jones to play together. And it's funny because I have an agenda against Jones just because it pisses Gally off, but I actually love the kid.
Yeah, I know you're coming in there just to wind up a few people, and I'm like, yeah, Anand's reeling in a lot of people now, and when people start biting, and it's really funny because I know you're just doing it for the wind up. But on that note, Hassan says here, Asna's set piece coach is more impressive than our man of the match is Goatness. Yeah, I think it would be irresponsible of us to not. And I know you brought him up, Cersei, so I'll stay with Anand here. I know both of us have been on the Darwin train for a time. I think you're still on the Darwin train while I'm mostly 50-50 now. But in a game like this, in a game of this magnitude, it's just he's at 2 league goals this year. I think it was Kazi you mentioned. And we just got to get more, don't we?
Listen,
yeah.
I think Simeone would love Darwin Nunez. I really do. I think Simeone would love Darwin Nunez. I think Real Madrid need a striker because Mbappe has made it clear he wants to play on that left wing. I really do. I think Juventus could use a big man because Vlahovic wants out. I'm not going to go further into what I'm saying, but I love the kid and I am on the Darwin train. But at the end of the day, my favorite the reason why I became a Liverpool fan, Michael Owen left the club, and here I am, right? We go forward. Jonar Narise, probably one of my favorites of all time, left the club. Here we are. And we go forward with the likes of Suarez and Torres and all these guys leaving that I loved. And none of those guys will mean to me more than Darwin Nunez, right? And it's just sometimes we got to move on and do the right thing. And I think for the club, we've tried multiple things, including a full 90 minutes today. And we had 2 chances to win it. One in which what pissed me off about when, Gakpo lays the perfect ball for him. He mistimes it. He's worried he's going to hit the post, so he kind of slows down, and then he starts laughing. And that really pissed me off because I wasn't laughing.
Yeah, I don't think.
I know every Liverpool supporter wasn't laughing. And then the big mess that he made of that shot, he just needed to tap in. Literally just got to tap it in. He made a big mess of it. I like the kid. I think he has the potential to be one of the best in the world, and I mean it because he's got the talent, the speed, the physique, the body. But sometimes when that's not there, you can't go anywhere. Robinho had everything, but he didn't have this, and he didn't end up doing too well. So maybe it's time for us to start thinking about cashing in on Darwin by next season before he runs out of contract, and we're worried about him going on the free as well. And we move on. We got Jota. I think we got to cash in on Jota too eventually because of his injuries.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to start looking at a striker that's going to give us that 25, 30 goals a season, as simple as that.
Sergi, I know you're the one who brought it up, but I feel like I still have to ask you if we get I know people are gonna get people get on myself and Gordo for bringing it up, but if this year it's another subpar season for Darwin, do you think his race has ran? Would you be on the Anand camp where you'd probably try and find a suitor, and if it comes in, just go? or maybe give him another season under the new manager? What do you think?
If we win the league, I find it hard to sell anyone. Having the players that you won the league with, I find it hard to sell anyone because they've won you the league.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Nunes, it's hard. Like it's not like he's Ryan Babel or anything. What would hurt? Well, not hurt, but if we let him go, the disappointing thing will be that we know the potential that he had. And he's shown it for Benfica. You know, he has it. He just has it. And it just feels like we would have failed him. And it's not a responsibility to make him, you know, it just feels like we just missed out on whatever it was. And yeah, it's down to Nunes. And, you know, it's his head or whatever. But I'm not saying like he's perfect for Atletico Madrid. But so is Fernando Torres, you know. And then when we bought Torres, we made him, you know, from a great player to like elite. And Nunes has it. He's shown it. He's shown he can do it. You know, whether he's not, if he's taking shots, you know, and he's not scoring, it's fine. You know, we had that, you know, Firmino. You know, there's so much more to Nunes' game than Jota's, you know, and even Gakpo to some extent. But that's what will hurt. Like just knowing that we weren't able to tap into potentially what he could have been, one of the best in the world, and that'll be the disappointing thing.
Yeah,
but
well,
like I say, if we win the league, like no, I'll keep him another season.
Let me bring in Kazi. Kazi, how are you doing, my friend? Obviously, a little bit disappointing here. Looking at the grand scheme of things, we would have probably taken the draw, especially as Sergi was mentioning it at the end of the first half when it was 2-2. I think he would have taken that on there. But obviously, the disappointment is coming into the fact that we were 3-2 up and everything like that. So, you know, summarize it for me. How do you feel, and what do you think this result means going forward?
I think it's a good point. I really do. You can't just keep playing football for 45 minutes and expect to win games. Eventually, you will get found out. Liverpool got found out. We nearly pulled off a miracle based on the first half to win a game that we had no right to win. And then what can you do? But your keeper makes a mistake, and that's football, and that happens. And it's not nothing to do on the players, really. Listen, a few of the players put in some shockers, don't get me wrong. But the manager got the starting 11 wrong. We had that chat in the Discord, and he got the starting 11 wrong. I actually think he made the subs correct. I think they were the right subs. I think all the subs made an impact, which is credit to the manager. But I don't want to keep singling people out, but you can't have a number 9 like that up front, week in, week out. You just can't.
It's excellent. You came in, we were just talking about him, so
it's criminal.
By all means. Yeah, by all means.
He's criminal, mate. He'll cost you more points than he wins. I've said this since day one. He will cost you more points than he wins. And it's the petulance of him, really, mate. Like, you get him some days and he's unplayable. And that's what's the frustrating part. I think we're all, as fans, we're more critical on players when you know they've got something. And you're like, fucking, like, I'm so critical on Szoboszlai because you're 6'4", you built like a house, you're the captain of your fucking team, you're so young. Go out there and be commanding. I want to see a dominating midfielder. You know what I mean? I'm not asking for Steven Gerrard, but I'm asking you to win your battles. And today he was great when he came off the bench, by the way, really good, exactly what we needed. But I'm critical of him. I'm critical of Nunes because you're 6'4" and you can't win a battle. You don't win a battle. And you don't win a header. When the ball goes long to you, you just do that little Harry Kane duck kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. But listen, in the first half, we all could have singled them out. I think the manager, I do think he hung Kwanzaa out again. I really do. It's stupid, mate. It really is. And I don't know if fucking Kwanzaa's been doing up so much with his daughter or something, fella, because my God, like, what are you doing to the poor kid? You know, I'll go and play right wing against Anthony Gordon. Quickest winger in the league. Yeah. It just seems a bit, I don't know, it just seems a hash. Maybe I'm
sorry to cut you off there, Kazi, but for anyone here, what was the thinking beyond that? Like, if anyone can give me a logical reason, like, it worked against City because we were setting up shop.
I get it. Well, I think he's trying to get the relationship developed between Gomez and Van Dijk for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. He's trying to get that relationships developed again, which I understand now. So you don't want to split up the centre-half partnership. But there's also a part of, hey, mate, needs must. Hey, needs must, fella. Yeah. And he plays fullback sometimes. You put in fullback and you go to the kid who's clearly got ability and he's clearly got all the attributes to be a top-level centre-half in 5 years for Liverpool. To go and stand alongside the best centre-half in the world and he's going to talk you through the game. That's what he's trying to do. And again, the thing with Trent, and I know people saying he might have been able to do 20 and whatever. Don't bring him there. I know he's just come on and changed the game for you, right? But he shouldn't have to. If you can play 20, you can play 70. Can't you just do 70 and win the game and then take him off? Maybe I'm old school like that. Just win the footy match and then take him off. I don't know. It just seems a bit. Going back to a fella, we didn't deserve anything. By the way, can we just forget this completely stupid debate that Kelleher should keep his place over Alisson? Because it's just not a debate. It never has been a debate. I know fans are trying to make it one. It's not the debate. I actually think Kelleher should save the second goal. I actually think it's right at him, and he should save the second. Watch it back. I know it's wet and that, but it's around on. Do you know what I mean? And I might be being harsh there, but I am harsh on keepers, really. So, but yeah, mate, listen, it's a good, in the grand scheme of things, mate, Arsenal went there and lost. And Liverpool went there and got a point. Liverpool didn't deserve anything. Liverpool got a point. So, we move on. And I always say this about draws. Draws are only as good as your next game. So Liverpool go out to Everton, and you get 4 out of 6. That looks good. If you got to draw with Everton, you get 2 out of 6. It looks bad. Do you get what I mean? That's where luck's coming. But if you go and get 4 out of 6 against Newcastle away and Everton away, it's a really good point.
And let me actually get on to that Everton game with you there, Anon. Is it approaching? I think was it you who I asked or Sir Z who said that if it's going to be must-win territory? Was it you or Sir Z? I forget.
It was me. Sir Z.
Yeah. So
I think we're at a stage in the season where every game is a must-win game. I don't think there's any games where we're like, let's just fucking go and lose, or let's just go draw. I think every game is a must-win game. The Everton game is only a must-win game because that's the local derby. It isn't because of the points. It's because of just simply bragging rights. And if you really think about it, didn't we essentially lose the league a year ago because of that draw to Everton?
Yeah,
we dropped the points there and everything went downhill. You go out there, you beat Everton because it's a must-win game for so many different reasons. But probably the main reason is every single game is a must-win game right now. Just go out there and win the fucking game, especially after today and you put a performance.
Yeah, I think Saturday is important to bounce back from this. I mean, given the way the season's gone, it feels like a loss. Also, I know what Kaz is saying, and we didn't deserve to win it. But, you look at a great teams that won the league before, like Man United and stuff, and they've won the league with games that they shouldn't have, that they didn't deserve to win, and that's where we're at now, and that's the expectation that Slot's given us now. So we need to show we can bounce back from this. And I know Kazi has said it before, this is Everton's last game at Goodison. It's going to be, that game's going to be fire.
Yeah, they've had a good win today. You know what I mean?
And so they're up for it. They've seen our result. It feels like
I get what you're saying about the Newcastle result, by the way, right? Of like football's kind of changed and you mentioned the old Fergie sides. Listen, mate, he used to take draws at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Because football has changed. Because Pep Guardiola's changed football a little bit. It has changed, and it feels like a draw away at St. James's Park should not be the end of the world, and it should be the end of your season. Do you know what I mean? Far from it. What it should be is a good point on a Wednesday night away from home against a really, really tough. Let's get this right as well for slots. In terms of slotting it right a little bit. Andy Gordon and Isak will be the best players in the Dutch league right now, and they're currently in 10th in the Premier League. They would be the best players by a mile in the Dutch league. So what I'm getting at is that I would love to know what he says about Trent, first of all, in his post-match. I'd love to know if he was fit or not. And as he tries to take a bit of a liberty on Trent, to go, I can be a bit cheeky here, rest Trent, do you know what I mean? And win the game. You can't take liberties in the Premier League. If that's the case, I could be wrong. And he said, listen, Trent's carrying his injury still and whatever. I could be wrong. But I don't think you can play 70 against City and then tell me you're not fit on a Wednesday. Maybe I'm incorrect. But if you cannot take liberties in this league, that strike force, I would argue, is as good as any in the league. That midfield is as good as any in the league with Joe Linton, Guimaraes and Tonali. It is a strong, strong midfield, and they can beat anyone. They've beaten Arsenal. I think they drew with City, didn't they? I think they drew with City as well. So they're very good at home. That is a good point. And I know it says he's saying because we're all scarred from title races past of when you get 97 points and don't win it, and 91 points and 92. You know what I mean? I get that. I understand it completely, the mindset, but it's not like that this year. It's not going to be 90 points to win it. Do you know what I mean? I think it is going to be mid-80s. I do think that. So I just think we all need to put it into context. Liverpool have been on the back of a horrifically long, hard run. That doesn't happen often. And I just think getting a draw when you've been that bad, so bad, like Gavin Birch's worst game for Liverpool, bad. Like, I just think it's a really good point, and we should really. I know it's frustrating because of the end, and it's a goal at the end, but I just think over the whole 90 minutes, mate, I think it is a really good point.
What's up, Brian here? Brian, how's it going? Did you catch the match? What are your thoughts? Obviously, coming on here, everyone kind of said their piece, but obviously it is a disappointment. But in the grand scheme of things, Newcastle away is always a solid point, as we discussed. But how are you feeling about the result?
I kind of second what Kazi said right there. If Trent was ready to come there to come on and play for those minutes, he should have came to start the match. I think it kind of hung Kwanzaa out there, hung the kid out to dry a little bit, and I kind of feel bad for the kid to come there getting played out of position. I mean, I think that you could have Trent come there and play, and had Gomez in the middle. I think it would have probably shored up a little bit more. But Newcastle's always tough. I mean, it's a tough place to play. I mean, I feel kind of like it was kind of a hard pill to swallow after Mo came there and got the third for it to come back and to just have that set piece goal right there from Shar right there. Just kind of it was I was driving in the process of seeing it, and it was like, what the hell.
Hey, by the way, can we just give full credit to Newcastle?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous day, really had a good plan.
That Isaac is he's a brilliant center forward. That opening goal was incredible. I mean, it was just all him. It was power. I mean, it's what we would want from a player like a certain someone. Yes, maybe I'll see it for Thursday night right there. But
there's a thing that we are gents about the Núñez thing, right? And this experiment has been tried and tested. It's now his third season, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like, when does this stop? When does this end? Because you can't keep. He's been really good in the last few weeks. He has been really good, but we know that's. I don't want to say it's reverted to type as such because that's harsh. But that was so bad. He cannot go to Goodison Park on Saturday. He just cannot start Goodison Park. Especially after his performance last year there, by the way, which will stay with me until the day I die. That performance for the number 9 at Liverpool that you've thrown in there was absolutely abysmal. And he shouldn't have even been allowed back in the ground after that performance last time. So, go on.
It just goes back to what I was saying right there after post-match right there. If you're going to play Núñez is better out wide to the left right there and leaving Diaz in there in the middle like we've been playing right there until Jota gets where he can play. Already that right there, we need to start looking down the line right there of having a center forward. I don't think that Dan's is ready to go in there and do that. I don't think there's anybody else in the club ready to go in those positions. But
Sorry, it's just Diaz, isn't it? It's just literally playing, and then Núñez is your impact sub. By the way, Núñez was tremendous last week for 20 minutes against.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Tremendous, and that's now his role. And you just got to say to Diaz, "You're getting me home. Like you're getting me home until Jota gets back." And it is what it is, fella. I know you don't like playing there. You're not going to Girona. You're not going to Southampton. Do you know what I mean? And we're going to do this until Jota gets back. And it is what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I said in the chat, I thought he should have went 4-4-2 in the end and just put Elliot in midfield, just to have an extra body in midfield. And just basically got an extra leg. So I would have played 4-2-2-2 towards the end. I would have went to Szoboszlai and Elliot. You just stand next to each other, 2 number 10s. Let Elliot just go to Szoboszlai. You're going to do all Elliot's running. Let Elliot just pick his passes and do what Elliot does.
But either way, right there, I would have probably pulled Jones to put Endo in right there. Then you at least come there and have somebody to break up play, a natural defensive midfielder in that spot right there. Especially when you get either Jones or McAllister, or Gravenberg, because all of them were on cards. So I mean, by putting that right there, at least you go there and set back and go there and absorb and break up play.
And now McAllister's out at the derby as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
he's out.
Yeah.
And now you're running short of midfielders, which we knew anyway at the start of the season, and this is a thing that could happen. So you are in the dog days of Christmas, guys. This is what the dog days of football is like in the English Premier League at Christmas and New Year. We know what it's like. We've been here before. So it's like, again, do you just go Jones, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai?
Yeah.
I think it is. That's his only choice. He hasn't got another midfielder really that he likes. He hates Endo. He doesn't like Morton. And then Harvey Elliott, which I wouldn't put him in a derby away from home. I just think that's insane. So
next game after Everton, I think, is against
Southampton. Girona.
So he can Gravenberg can rest all he wants there. Like,
That's
get
what
through
I'm
the
saying now,
target.
right?
Yeah.
So you got to the stage. We had this chat about Madrid, by the way. I think I was very much on the case of resting players versus Madrid. I was very much that guy of just literally playing me and you centre mid. I did not care if Real Madrid beat us 5-0. By the way, you lost Canate and Bradley that game. Cheers. And then you are in the state. It's a fucking fact. You've lost Canate and Bradley. You've lost a lot, by the way. He was consistently injured for 2 years in Canate, and you didn't think you could have rested him for Real Madrid in a game that meant nothing really in the grand scheme of things. But that's by the way. You're now going to Girona. Do not make the same mistake twice. Learn from you've allowed yourself to go there and rest players. But if you are the football club, and I've just found this out today because I did a bit of research, do you know how much it is to win? How much the club gets to win a Champions League game in the group stage? It's £5 million to win a Champions League game as a win bonus. So if you're the fucking football club, that's where the conversation comes in again. Do you know what I mean? If like we could do with that, because we've got 3 wages we've got to sort out. And Mo Salah scoring every week. He scored in his last 7 games. He's going for Jamie Vardy's record. Like you need to, you know what I mean? So there's a balance here, but. Yeah, let's get to Everton.
Yeah, absolute shame we had to waste that Salah performance. Gentlemen, let me ask round table here before we close things out here. Are you getting that feeling of panic or not? Like, I know Kazi isn't. Sergi, no? Anon,
Sergi's definitely panicking. He panics every single day. Sergi.
I panic when we win. Panic when we win.
Okay, so let me make this a bit harder. If we drop points against Goodison.
If.
Again, let's be real. In August, how many of us thought we would be having this conversation today while 7 and 9 points clear? What's there to panic about? We are already ahead of expectations. We're ahead of plan. As a manager, Arne Slot is already ahead of everything expected of him. Absolutely no reason to panic. If we drop points at Goodison, I'll be upset, disappointed, and angry, but absolutely not panicking because there's... What is this? Game week 16, 17? What do we got? 17, 20 more games? Nothing to panic about, boys. It's too early.
Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree.
I just think there's a part for Everton. You need to isolate this. Like you're playing the team that are 15th in the league and have won 3 games all season. That's how you've got to look at it and go, you are better than them. I know it's a derby and we know anything can happen in these derbies, but that's how you've got to look at it. In terms of panicking, no. I don't think you should panic anyway. But what I would say is that Liverpool, this has been a very, very hard run, and we're at the tail end of this run, and it has to be put into context. I've said this previously on podcasts, and I know I've kind of had comments on the Discord now. This team is not ready to win the Premier League, but sometimes opportunity knocks. Leicester weren't ready to win the Premier League. Conte's Chelsea were not ready to win the Premier League. Some of Fergie's sides weren't ready to win the Premier League. You know what they did? They won the Premier League because sometimes opportunities just present itself. Do you get what I mean? So sometimes the opportunities presented itself to Liverpool, and you just got to go and grasp it by hook or by crook.
I disagree. I think we are ready to win the league. I don't think just because we've got a new manager that expectations should have been lower.
I'm talking about the manager. Sorry, Sergi, to put you off. I don't think it's about. I'm saying about the depth in the squad. I don't think we've got enough midfield options. I don't think we have a proper number 9. I think I'd take another left off me one.
I think we have a better depth options than Arsenal. Given the players that we had last season, and the fact that they were run to the ground, and Salah was, he got injured in AFCON and whatever. Up until we lost that Man United FA Cup game, we're on for the quad. The only thing that's changed is the way we train these players, and we're more defensively astute. So to say that we're above expectations, I don't think we are. I think that's a discredit to the players that we had. We didn't come in and make all these wholesale changes. No, you can put your hand down, man. You're going to say something about Szoboszlai, and it's not going to.
The reason why
the players that we have is that them players could have won the league last season if we didn't try and go for the quad or anything else. So the biggest opportunity that came up is that Man City, they didn't strengthen, and like Kazi said, beginning of the season, anyone that finishes above Man City, they're going to win the league.
None. Yeah.
Szoboszlai. No, I'm just kidding. I think the reason why we fumbled the quadruple last year is simply because we didn't have the squad depth, and why I'm saying this year, it's not like we don't deserve to win the league. It's just we're not prepared to win the league. Not because of just squad depth. When you bring in Arsenal, we have more depth than Arsenal. This is a team that's been playing this exact style for the past few years, building up to the time where they can win the league. Versus Slot, where he just came on now and he's making his changes. and adding something to this team. I'm not discrediting the team. I think this team has already overperformed the expectations. Were we not happy with top 4 in August? We all were.
Yeah, I was.
And I know this 1 for 1. We all were happy with top 4.
But
now
we're
talking about
winners in that team. We have experience of winners, and we've got Virgil, we've got Salah, we've got Robertson.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying
that's our biggest difference between us and Arsenal.
I'll argue that this squad isn't as good as last year's. I would argue that Bajcetic, Matip added really good depth, at least for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Ben Doak did numbers, Bobby Clark did numbers. I think Liverpool have made a real tough choice to go to 16 plus 17 players to get you over the line. And I tell you right now, you'd love a Stefan Bajcetic this evening. You'd love a Stefan Bajcetic for Girona, for Southampton. I think Liverpool have made a big mistake in that sense. That's why I'm saying I don't think they're ready to win the league, mate. Do I think we're as good as quality as anyone else in the league? Yeah, all day. But I just think those 3 or 4 really good squad players, mate, that you need. I think we know enough about certain players in the squad, like Costas, who gets injuries, by the way, as your backup left back. He gets his injuries, we know this. Kanate gets his injuries, we know. This is nothing. By the way, the players we're injured right now for Liverpool, this is nothing new. These are players who've been injured previous. Diogo Jota, we know enough about you. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only really positive that we can all take today, guys, is that Chiesa scored in the under-21s and he gets a few minutes today. So that's a really good positive to take as an extra man to come in. Do you know what I mean? For example, when he looks at his bench today, says he and goes to Chiesa, Darwin, you're stinking the gaff out. You're going there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That option can now come to him, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, any final thoughts when we close this out?
I'm going to kind of go on Kazi's side. I don't think this side was really ready to win the league right there. I mean, I'm going to take it because it's an opportunity right now. But the problem is right there is our depth is there's some serious depth issues that we have right now. I mean, you can obviously see with the defense right there. I mean, but because I don't think that Gomez is as loyal as Gomez has been for the past couple of years. I don't think he has the same run of form that Kanate's had, and I think we saw the difference there in matches like this. I mean, just overplay because I mean, I just go back with Anthony Gordon's one, the one-on-one basically he had right there where Gomez has slipped. I mean, I think that Kanate could probably handle that a little bit better. But I mean, it is what it is right there. From the match is done with. But I do think that, like back to Nan was mentioning about taking Sane earlier this week right there. No, I think we need a left back. I mean, bad. I think that we don't have depth in so many different squad spots that we don't need to have a Sane there. I mean, I'd take Ben Doak back. And I was against Bobby Clark leaving in the beginning right there. I mean, everybody rode me on that for a while right there. I think that Bobby Clark could have done a number in this match, and I mean, but we just got to go there, go and look forward to Goodison Park right there and just try to get a result out of this.
You don't look forward. No one looks forward.
I don't know if it'll make you guys feel better, but Salzburg fans want Bobby Clark out, so we could easily get him back. They don't want him there.
They probably want Pep Linders out.
No, I think they like Pep and they're happy with him, minus the Champions League. So I started following them all over social media, so I get a lot of their shit on my feed. They're not fans of Bobby Clark. They like Bajcetic. They think he's too weak, but I think we can all agree with that. He's a slimmer, younger guy. But the bottom line, yes, I wish we had a Bobby Clark on this lineup. I wish we had a Bajcetic just to have our squad players that we can use for the matches where you don't need to burn out the Gravenbergs. You don't need to burn out the Curtis Jones. You can give those guys that break and get them fully ready for those big games. I genuinely wish we had that.
For sure. But hopefully we will come into better post-match circumstances come Saturday. It's really early kickoff.
This isn't bad, guys. This shouldn't be a bad, grim post-match. No. Minus, and I think Cersei's only upset because he's out of meds because he's addicted. Other than that, everything's okay, guys. Like, there's no issues.
I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating because the way it happened, but overall, it's a fine result. It's a fine point. Let's just all relax, take it in. If you go out and beat Everton, it's a really, really, really good point to look back at.
100%, yeah.
No better way to close that out, Kazi. But, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining me here as always. If you're not yet subscribed, for those watching, we have a YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter account. We even have Blue Sky, although I can't link it right now. And we do have a TikTok as well. So find us there at American Scouser. But if there's nothing else, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys being here. On to Goodison then. Up the Reds.
The Reds.